Thank you all for being here. It's great to see you all as always. So, we've got a bit of a different stream today. Usually I stick to Lorne pretty much, although I have done one TCAP stream before, and so this is going to be another TCAP stream. So I think this will be nice to break it up a bit. And so I've got a special guest on today, which I'll introduce now. So say good day, Vast Ravioli.
Hello, hi.
So, firstly, thanks for being here. And so
Thank
this one here, this was actually an idea that you brought to me, which I thought was excellent. And so actually, what I'll do is I'll put the stream image up so we know what we're talking about here. And so this is the TCAP Iceberg, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is correct.
And so I'll let you actually explain it a bit, but yeah, so this came from, I wanted to give credit to the author, but I don't know who it was. It was someone on Reddit, and I've put the link to it in Reddit, so, please go and give them their due, but yeah, over to you.
Yeah, so if y'all don't know, an iceberg chart is basically just a chart of facts on a certain topic that get more and more obscure as you go down, kind of like how an iceberg is sunny at the top, but deeper you go, it gets more and more dark. So that's just what this guy is here. And what I did sort of was take the most interesting and obscure, I think, parts of the iceberg and like pulled them out because this guy's pretty long, especially for like the first two and three tiers.
Yeah, it is. And so we definitely won't be covering everything on the iceberg because, I don't have 2 or 3 days available to me to do that. And I'm sure everyone doesn't have 2 or 3 days there to sit. But what we talked about, what we might do is have a bit of a kind of look. And I know that you've done quite a bit of work in kind of picking out stuff. And so what we'll do, we'll have a bit of an overview of the iceberg, from tier 1 down to tier darkness. But then kind of, I think we picked out a few kind of highlights from each tier, and so we'll
Mhm.
talk about them in a bit more depth, and we'll also be, because obviously Lorne features in 2 of the tiers here because he's just that special. Um, and when we get to him, we're actually going to watch his Sting video and do a bit of kind of live analysis on that one, which I think will be really good because even though I've done so much lawn calls and that kind of thing, the actual Sting video um, is something I haven't actually done. So I think that'll be
Yeah,
good because
and almost.
I was going to do it around the time of Lawnmas, but um, um, Andrew and Tiffany and all their crew were doing it, and I knew I would just do a worse job. So why it'd be like going on after the Foo Fighters, like you're not going to do that. So I left it alone. um, yeah, so I'll just let's say hello to everyone. So
Yes.
we've got now. Did you want to do the roll call by any chance? Yep.
Oh no, I'm already nervous as it is. My edibles just hit, so I'm kind of
Lovely. All right, no dramas. So g'day, Pee-wee the Great, Spencer Silvera, Becca, Winnie's boyfriend slash husband, Jeff W, and you must give me credit, Jeff. I was on time tonight. Um, G'day, Honest, the guy, Spencer Silvera. I've said hello to you twice, so lucky you. Gorilla Face Gwen, Eva Little McNuggets, Mandy S, Chatchabate Billy, Dan Jones, Riley O'Brien, Ma'am Yes Ma'am, Moton G Good and You, Dan Jones, Yarn Queen, um, new Law and Order. Don't worry about feeling old, Yarn Queen. Probably people will probably guess at least my age range from my music taste, so all good. Genetics, Honorary Bogan, Upgrade, Witchert, Scott, Great Scott, um, Bitter Almonds, Hardcore Poetry, Sam Fordyce, 2011. Um, Riley O'Brien says Cornville took his crew and did $600 worth of work to his other brothers, and the other brother asked, "Can I pay you back?" Cornville Three-Way just said, "Make me some ravioli." That's
ooh, yummy.
C Morgul, the ghost of Tony Farmer, Smokey the Cat, Sad Face '09, Time Machine, Lawn League Week, Ethan Oatman, g'day Ethan, Cool. I think that's all of us so far. If I've missed you, yell at me, and if not, I'll say hello to you when you come in. So now also, um, as I said, the link to this iceberg is in the description there, and also you have a channel yourself, Vast, which I've put the link to in there. So, did you want to give a bit of a what you do on your channel?
Yeah, well, it's just analysis of kind of like if you sort of do more of the TCAP stuff, you would know Walls. He does
Mm.
kind of like commentaries on like the actual segments and on like the interrogations and things like that.
Yep.
Um, so it's more so like that, but more from the perspective of somebody who's been a victim to of to a person like this, to some of these people.
Yeah, and so please check out Vast channel. I've watched all of her videos. As I said in another stream, they're really good. The analysis is great, and you are quite open in there about your own experiences of that, which I really appreciate it. And it gives another dimension there. So please go and check that out, guys. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell, as Jordan would say. And g'day to Crago and Gorilla Spawn and Mistress von Joya von Floofington. I noticed you guys come in there and passed out Roy in the van and Lorne's burn phone, if I said that or not. But anyway, so let's crack into it, hey.
All right.
So now I don't know. I mean, I don't know how big that is on everyone's screen, so I don't know if people want to follow along with the little iceberg here and that kind of thing. But yeah, as you can see, kind of the top layer is your. I mean, now prefacing this, obviously all of the predators are bad. So when I say the more light-hearted predators, I don't mean they're any better or worse. I mean what they did was disgust. But I guess these are the kind of guys that most people probably know because their segments were pretty funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got the guys like Anthony Palumbo, Jeff Stacy and his voice, that kind of thing. Like, they were notable, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you want to kind of go through the next tiers there?
Yeah. So it would be great if I wasn't so fucking blind. Sorry.
No, all good, all good. So yeah, so I mean the second tier is, I guess they're still notable. I look at that and like I say,
The second tier is more so like certain events and things like the Me, My Mommy, and My Daddy
mm.
decoy from Hansen versus Predator. If you are familiar with that, I don't know if you are, but it's one of my favorite moments.
So what was that? Can you tell me about that?
So in one of the stings, they had a male decoy that was supposed to be posing as a 13-year-old boy, but he did a terrible job of it. And when I believe it was Jesse Velez, who had come to meet him, when he was sitting on the counter, at the counter, he was like, "Well, who lives here?" And the
Oh,
decoy was like, "Oh, who lives here? Well, I live here. Me, my mommy, and my
yeah,
daddy."
I love that guy. He looks like he's about 30, 40s, like
God, he looks
me,
like
my
he's in his
mummy, and my
late
daddy.
20s,
Yeah,
and he's, oh,
it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was. I do. I really like that guy. Like, I mean, but I just don't understand why they got it, because like you look at him and like you'd walk in there and go, right, this is a
And
this is a
there's
man.
nothing
This is
about
not a
him on the
boy. But
there's nothing about him out on the internet. I can't find anything about him. Like, I don't know what his name is. I don't know if he was like an understudy or like somebody who they just picked up last minute, because it had to be. They did such a good job with the female decoy. How is it possible that the male decoy was that bad?
well, like I mean, because and I'm definitely not having a go at him, but they just yeah, it's like he was cast wrong. Like, because you look at I think his name's Dan Schrack. He was like the blonde male decoy, and he did a fabulous job. And I don't know, maybe it's just because got I don't know, like it was like they couldn't find young looking male decoys, and maybe that's people, the changes people go through in puberty, and that maybe I mean, I used to go to school with people that had like guys that were 15 and had beards, you know what I mean? But
And like
you know.
that, my husband made an excellent point with it. We were watching that the other day, and he said that he looks more so like a guy who's like in his late teens at the latest. If you were to tell somebody, oh, this guy's 17, 18, this guy's 16, 17, 18,
Mm.
you would believe it. Like, yes, but not 13. Like, 13 is definitely a stretch.
Yeah. And that's right. And so it kind of goes down that way. Oh, here we go, Sprinkle Cake. And I just noticed, Sprinkle Cake, you said you've been here since the start. Thanks a lot. Did I miss? I swear I said hello to you, but I would never, big fan of Sprinkle Cake, so I would never actively. So hello to Sprinkle Cake in case I missed you. But as Sprinkle Cake says, the me, my mummy, and daddy decoy was actually a new police recruit that had never worked as an actor or participated in a
That is
sting.
absolutely hilarious. Well, no wonder he had such a gigantic smirk when they were arresting him.
Yep, and that's great context. I'm glad Sprinkle Cake put that because you did like I remember watching it thinking like you're definitely not like the other decoys, but I'm at the same time I'm glad he was because that me, my mummy, and my daddy is iconic. Like I hear that in my head all the time. Like when someone says like when you hear someone say who's there? It's like just me, my mummy, and my daddy, and then he talks about his daddy's great craftsmanship on the table and that. Like it's just really good.
Oh my gosh.
And g'day, I know a few more people have come in. So g'day, I am the Senate, Drive 137, ADD, Josh Ash. So, and yeah, and I know I will miss people tonight because whenever I've got a guest on, I can't multitask, so I will miss people in the chat. So you know that's not intentional. So yell at me if I miss you. So yeah, and so then it works down, and then obviously it just gets darker and darker, and when we're getting down to those, those final tiers, we've got stuff like DMAC wanting the threesome with the decoy's 8-year-old sister, that kind of thing. And then, the unaired predators, and then finally, and I agree with, and that's the other thing, guys, I'd love to hear in the chat, like this is a list that someone else has come up, like, you might disagree with where things are placed in the terms of the listing, but
Is there
definitely.
no particular order that I took out? Like, I didn't take them out in any particular order themselves and then list them in any particular order. I just took them out from the list from left to right.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. But yeah, on that very last one, the who posted the Long Beach Craigslist warning, that's something that's always, and that is, I agree with this person, that is the darkest part of TCAP because,
Absolutely.
how exactly did you find out, and what kind of person are you that you need to protect these guys? Like it's it probably doesn't even bear thinking about that, to be honest. So let's start back up at tier 1. And so number 1 on there that we kind of picked out to have a look at is is Michael Warriger, the can I rape you anally
Yes.
predator.
Yes, he says, I like rape about 3 minutes into the conversation.
Yep.
Which is why he's up here. And like I said, there was a lot of mostly like quotes and things like that throughout these first few ones. We are sort of gonna zip by them a little bit because it's mostly like surface stuff. So for example, number 2 that we have here is I'm cute though, built good. And that's a quote by Michael Willis, generic white male, which honestly, generic white male is one of my absolute favorite usernames.
What? No way.
I love it.
And I love at the end there where he's just like, I don't even want this cookie. Like he's punishing Chris, like, fuck you, man, you've ruined my life. I'm not gonna even eat these cookies you prepared for me.
Fuck your cookies. Here's what I think about your damn cookies.
100%. Fuck you and the cookies you wrote in on. And g'day, Derek X Derek and Kitty Velociraptor.
And
Go.
Now for these, I did add little links for the ones that do have it. Now I don't know if you want to like click it and show. If that's totally up to you. We don't have to, because some of these you kind of have to like jump to it. I put the timestamps on the ones that I remembered to, so you may not want to. But
hang on, I'll see if I can do that. Hang on, I'll queue up Cody Green's one. So just tell everyone a bit about Cody Green while I queue that up.
Yes, so Cody
Green
actually
admits it's likely.
Whoops.
Oh, yeah, it's um he's the cleanest best pleasure guy. Um Again, you don't have to pull it up because I think it's like halfway through the thing. But he's the cleanest best pleasure guy. He says that he has an interest in younger girls and that having sex with a 13-year-old girl would be quote unquote the cleanest best pleasure
Yep.
for him.
And like with him, like he's like one of the ones that stands out because he's completely open about it, and like he knows it's wrong. Like I remember when I first and like when I was going through this list you prepared, like it was a lot of like flashbacks to the first time I watched TCAP, because I mean I've said on streams and that before, like and probably because we didn't have kind of Dateline live as you guys do in the US, so I just saw it, you know, many years later on YouTube, so I kind of binged it all. But I just remember him being like, when Chris, like you say, like, you know, Chris asked him, you know, what are you doing here? It's like, you know, it's a fantasy of mine, you know, it'd be the cleanest best pleasure. Like he's so, and that took me back quite a bit. Like you were so not proud of it, but you're just like, hey, this is what I am. Like I don't really give a fuck. Like that was quite amazing. And g'day to Alison K.
Yeah, I have a bit of a theory when it comes to these guys,
Mm.
and it's that a lot of them don't understand the damage that they cause by doing these things, and how even the most minimal thing to them can be traumatic and brain altering and life altering to a child. They don't fully grasp that concept.
I fully agree with you. I think a lot of them think, well, you know, as long as I'm, you know, getting consent and I'm going to be, I mean, some of them, you know, are open that they're not going to be gentle, but like you see a lot of them, like if I'm going to be gentle, like there's not, like basically I'm getting my needs fulfilled, but not taking into account the, you know, the damage that they do. And I think I was talking with someone about this, or maybe I was just talking to myself in a stream about this. Like they don't also realize, even if it never gets to sex, even if they don't expose themselves, the damage that they're doing to these children by just talking to them, by, you know, treating them like adults, which they're not, and I know in some of your videos you've talked about, you know, the damage that does to the brain, the way that changes the way the you know,
Yes.
it's horrifying.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we said that we weren't going to get too dark, and here we fucking are.
Well, that's right, and that's the thing. It's hard not to get dark in a lot of ways, isn't it? So
Oh yeah.
we will keep it as light as possible. But that's one thing that's one thing I enjoyed in a couple of videos you've talked about, because I think that does get missed, like, and not intentionally, but and that's what I always say about Lorne. Even he thinks that him going there was, you know, was the real bad thing, and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Even if, and this never would have happened with Lorne, so even if towards the end of the chat log he suddenly had an epiphany and gone, you know what, this is wrong. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. This is the wrong. I should have done this. That month he has already done so much damage to that child that,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
like, and he just can't get it. He just thinks, oh well, I didn't actually have sex with her, so really what did I do so wrong? Um,
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things that bothers me so much, and I would respect Lorne and all of these guys a lot more if they just fucking owned up to the fact that they had already done damage. But obviously they don't want to, so there
yeah,
goes the respect out the damn window.
well, that's right, and that's the biggest thing about Lorne that I think infuriates so many people, and what infuriates me. Now, firstly, he never should have got back on the internet. Like that's mistake number one, because it doesn't matter what you do, um, you're not going to be forgiven. But if even now, even after all this, if he came out and he was genuine, now when I say if this happened, I know it won't ever happen, but if he genuinely was like, you know what, I finally get it. I realise what I've done. I've realised what I could have done if, you know, I had more access to children and that, and I'm, you know, just absolutely ashamed of saying I'll never get over, then you wouldn't forgive him, but I wouldn't feel right about continuing to bash him and that kind of stuff. Like at that point, I'd probably go, look, I don't think people should catfish him anymore or that. I mean, not that I have a say in it, but he doesn't, and that's why he's such a fucking monster because he doesn't get it or refuses to
Absolutely.
get it.
Exactly. It's not that he doesn't get it, he refuses to get it. And if he would just try to understand and give in and just, let people help him,
Mm.
we wouldn't consider him well, at least I wouldn't consider him a monster anymore.
Yeah, that's right. And g'day Amy A. Ramirez and Egbert. It's you, Egbert. Now, Shins asked in the chat, now it's gone. Now, where were you, Shins? And, oh, g'day, Shins. Shins asked who is our wonderful co-host. So this is Vast Ravioli. She has a channel where she analyses TCAP, episodes of TCAP. Does a really great job. I've got her link in the chat, so everyone please go check that out. And yeah, so that's who my wonderful co-host is. Alright, so the next one on the list is Jeff Stacy's voice. And I love Jeff Stacy, like not as in I love but just his whole segment was
Yeah.
it was one of those, and because when I first heard the segment, I just had it on in the background while I was working, and I had to instantly open up the window, like, who the fuck is this guy? When he comes in with his Mickey Mouse voice, is like, okay, what is going on here?
Yep. I left Jeff Stacy's voice in, and I was like super on the fence about taking it out because it's so insignificant, but it's such a big part of TCAP history. Jeff Stacy's iconic voice.
It is, and like just his whole segment, like
Trying to kill himself with a pen.
Oh, I know, like
it's a question.
It's a question. It's like, I ask that to everyone, and then he talks about his druggy friends. But it's just.
Didn't he die of an overdose?
I actually didn't. I heard that he died. I actually didn't hear what he died of.
I'm not sure. I just that's something I heard out of through the grapevine. So don't quote me on that. But that's what I heard, that he had died of an overdose or something, or that his wife had given him too much of a certain kind of drug or something like that.
Yeah, I the very limited amount I heard, because I don't get too much into the other Predators as much as I like, and I probably will look to do more of that. But I did hear there was something a bit sus maybe about his wife or something. I'm not sure. But talking about his wife, he's one of the few ones that kind of managed to get married after all of this, which it's one thing. You think someone on the sex offenders registry would have it hard enough, but these people are nationally famous for being the pedophiles they are. It always amazes me when they meet someone and get married.
It's at a different level, because it's one thing to be public record on the RSO, right? It's one thing because anybody can look it up, but it's another thing to have somebody in fucking Australia know who you are.
That's right. That's you're internationally famous for being a dirty pedo. Well done.
Yes, it's a completely different level.
Yeah, and I know in these, this day and age, there's not much difference between fame and infamy, but for these guys, there is, But yeah, his whole thing, and then just the way he's talking to Chris, and it's he's reading through the chat log and gets the bit where he's talking about, are you a cop? You've got to tell me if you are. And he's like, oh yeah, I said to everybody. He just hasn't believed that he walks around are you a cop? Are you a cop? Are you a cop? It's just. But
I just imagine Mickey Mouse running around a chat room screaming, "Are you a cop? Are you a cop? Are you a cop?"
he's so bizarre. But yeah, it takes the cake when he's in there and they take his cuffs and he grabs the pen and does the most half-hearted. And it's similar to Lorne in the way I just feel like they think, well, they'll feel sorry for me and let me go. If they feel I feel this bad, I'm going to kill myself. They're just expected to be okay, mate, look, don't do it again. We're going to end it here. Which is what I think about, and sorry, I know I always come back to Lorne, but it's about the only thing I know.
Well, he's a very good, I think, central point for predators because he has a little bit of everything. He's like a narcissist, like he's just a terrible person overall. So like, oh, sorry about that. He's just a terrible person overall, so it's super easy to, target him.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's the most content of him out there of all the predators because most of the other predators, just pissed off. And so sorry, I'm just fantastic. I've got some Shins has sent me some pellet cleansers, so I'll queue those up of our good mate Jeff Stacy. So I'll queue those up for when we
Sweet.
need a pellet cleanser. Because I'm sure we will. I've also got some more Aussie Man reviews as pellet cleansers to go through there.
Oh my
But
gosh. Yeah.
seeing we're speaking of Lorne, that's a lovely segue into the next person, which is
Oh
Lorne.
yes. Haha. Now his chat long was longer than The Hobbit, and I like saying that um, because I mean, come on, you can't come back from that. Like you can't. I feel like at that point, your chat log with a 13-year-old, you being how old was he? Like 37
37 today.
today. Your chat log being longer than the fucking Hobbit, because
Mm.
I think it was like 10 or 15 pages longer than the actual fucking book.
It was huge. I mean that's the thing, and that's the thing about his segment, which we're going to watch in a second, is that like they did Lorne a favour. What you see on that, they picked out kind of the least disgusting parts of the chat log. I mean, which was hard to do because there's a lot of disgusting stuff in there. But yeah, they didn't focus a lot on that. But yeah, and that's what I always think. If Lorne didn't come back and have his, because I mean, I don't think anyone here needs much of an introduction to Lorne, because like if you follow my channel, you're most likely pretty big into Lorne. But I mean, obviously, very high level thing. He gets caught in the sting. He makes a YouTube channel to do shitty songs and as but as redemption, really, wasn't it? Like I think he thought, I'll show them the other side of me, and they'll overlook all of the pedophilia and the disgustingness. But that was like what we find out about him later is worse in a lot of ways, or at least provides a lot more shit layers to him. Like because I mean, take aside all of that, because in the I'll collect my thoughts. What I'm trying to say, like in the chat log, although it's so disgusting, like you don't get all the abusiveness there because, which highlights how shit he is because he realised I'm talking to a child here. I need to keep my disgusting fucking abusive behaviour to a minimum so I don't scare them off. But
They
once he's catfished, it's all there.
they made him sound like a different kind of predator. They made him because he's opportunistic. I think that's the word for it. And they made him sound like an ambush predator.
Yes, that's right. And as Pink Puggins and G'day Pink Puggins has said in the chat log is actually an extremely great case study in grooming, which it absolutely is. I mean that's the
Yes.
thing that frustrates me and fascinates me with Lorne. I mean although it wasn't successful, like he puts no effort into anything. I mean this is the guy that duct tapes a desk fan to his roof for a ceiling fan, but he
I've made a point to say that I would have never fallen for Lorne's grooming.
Yep, and I'm sure most would have, but he put so much effort into it. He knew about deleting your archives. He knew about all of this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, there probably would be kids that would fall for it. I mean, obviously, in Lorne's case, this was a decoy, but he put so much effort into this. Yet anything that isn't immoral and disgusting, he puts no effort into. And it is a very good case study in grooming because it starts off as kind of this, you're there as the good Samaritan, the protector, and that's what it is. He starts out with the, hey, don't talk to anyone on the internet, this kind of stuff, and then he slowly just pushes the boundaries. And we all talk about his LOL so much, but that's what he's doing. He slowly pushes the boundaries. And if it gets a little bit dirtier, let's put an LOL on there. So if she responds with, "Oh, you disgusting prick," never talk to me again. It's like, precious, I was just joking, precious, you know.
Uh,
Um,
that's exactly correct.
so, let's jump into this one. Where are we?
Um, the next one is For Sex I'm Not Coming, which is something that Abhilash Bhaskaran, I believe that's how you say it. I don't know. I'm so sorry if I butchered it, but I'm not sure.
I think that's a pretty
Um,
good attempt.
but he says it, and he also fled the country to flee his charges.
Oh, did he? I wasn't actually aware of that.
Yeah, he apparently fled.
Oh, okay.
I'm not entirely sure where to, but I'm assuming back to wherever it is that his family would have been from.
And so
'Cause that's where I would have gone.
he was never actually charged.
Oh, was he not?
Actually, no, I do remember because Clobber did a stream on this guy, and I think he ended up jumping out of a building or something and killing himself. If I'm correct in what Clobber had found out.
Oh, I put the wrong thing on the thing here. Instead of putting his TCAP wiki, I put his YouTube segment, so I can't click on it. Dang it.
Oh no, that's all. That's all good. I don't think I'll be able to get them queued up fast enough anyway. And I think especially with these Predator, I think probably most people would remember their segment. But yeah,
Yeah.
and he is that, you know, For Sex I Am Not Coming, and I'm pretty
Yes.
sure if I'm correct. And now I can't, you know, Lorne Identity does the best this guy impression, like this Egyptian, but you know, he's the one that's like, you know, I'm Muslim, I don't do this.
Yes, yes.
Well, clearly you do, you know. And so the next one is the never-ending energy drink. I don't know anything about this guy.
So in the Sebastian Rodriguez sting, um, there was his friend who was the quote unquote tag along, who Sebastian had brought in with him, and he has was it like a venom? It was some kind of energy drink, but like he was just sipping on it through the whole thing, and it's just seemingly never ending because he sips and sips and sips and sips and sips, and no matter how far he tilts it back, he still somehow is swallowing.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
he's just
okay.
tiny and nervously. So it's seemingly never ending.
Okay, now, Coyote Lady and also Josh S. and G'day Coyote Lady have corrected me in the chat. That was actually David Oskin, the dude with the massive nose that jumped off a building and killed himself. So old mate For Sex I'm Not Coming is still alive and well, and
Hey, yo, Winnie's boyfriend / husband just called you out for racism in the chat.
yeah, I noticed that. So thanks.
It's okay, I'm Mexican.
I clearly he like Winnie's boyfriend / husband is running a campaign to get me cancelled. I think he thinks that once he cancels me, he will get any kind of extra subscribers that I have that he doesn't. So
I really enjoy both of you. I can't believe mommy and daddy are fighting.
I can't believe it either. You know, we used to get along really well, but you know, I can't overlook the attacks anymore. So I'm just joking, everyone. I'm just joking. But I'm not a racist. So don't say that again, or I'll time you out. And, and yeah, she's just talking about tennis boy enslaved to mistresses. The saying that he slept with tears on the bunk in sadness when they posted bail. That was is that this guy? Is this tennis boy and slave to mistresses?
Yes.
I do. Okay, I do know them now.
Is it?
I think it must be. Is that right, Shins? Is Sebastian Rodriguez tennis boy or slave to mistresses? Because that was
I believe it's the mistresses.
because that was a funny segment where they're there and, you know, slave to mistresses doesn't seem to have any fucking idea what is going on, and then
Yup.
and then like tennis boy is just like, I think we're under arrest. He's like, what?
Yep. He looks so surprised. Oh, bye-bye. The ghost of 20 Farmer. He said he's leaving.
Oh, thanks for being
Or
here. Ghost, thanks for being here, Ghost of Tony Farmer. Yeah. Okay. Let's.
Justin Rodriguez.
So Predator fashion is
Oh
number
yes,
8.
Predator fashion. I have a tiny, little itty bitty segment of it in one of my videos.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just the fact that most of these guys dress so fucking bad. Let's not go too far. Lorne dresses uh, like that.
Yeah. Well, and Lorne's fashion in general is bad, but Lorne's fashion at the Sting House was particularly bad because like he just looks dirty. He looks dirty. He looks sweaty. His clothes are shabby as shit. And you think about this is probably so. There's two things that I always think about in what he wore. Like he this was the greatest moment of his life. Like he finally thought he was going to lose his virginity. He finally thought he was going to have a kid. And he rocks up in that, like, because he obviously thought, hey, this is my best clothes. I'm wearing my best clothes. But the other thing is that he wore the baggy pants that he said he would wear, so that they could have their,
Oh my gosh!
you know,
If he came, because it looked like he came out, like he got out of work, like he
yeah,
got off work, and just went straight to the house.
that's right. But we know from
So
the
like, if that's
decoy,
the case,
but he then that's the thing. We know from the decoy calls, he did it because he got home. He spoke on the phone to her quite a bit while he was eating his bologna sandwich and having his cigarette, and he even had a shower because when she rang up to say, I just realised I've got a garage, which is not sus at all. I mean, who can remember if they've got a garage or not? He said, "You're in the shower with me, precious." So he had a shower and put that shit on. Like,
oh
wow.
my gosh!
So
Do you think? So Lauren has said many times that he's homophobic. Do you think he like spreads his butt cheeks in the shower to let the water in, or like, do you think he thinks that's gay?
that is something I haven't thought about, but nothing would surprise me with him. But and
I think
he's
Lauren is gay.
and that's the thing.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. He is definitely gay.
Well, and he's, I don't know, but he's, not a lot of times, but sometimes when people are this openly homophobic, it is because they do have, at least homosexual tendencies, and it's something they're not comfortable with, and they're worried about, being seen that way, so they go the other way. But he's so proud of his homophobia, like there's nothing to be proud of. Like he thinks,
Yeah, he
I,
has a certain way of sort of like expressing his emotions through anger. So the way he like pesters for details, for example, like in the calls where he's pestering about the doctor and how what's her face saw him naked, how he's pestering about to tell her details and give him details and details and details. I feel like he gets off to that in a certain way
mm, yeah, I
because
agree.
like it's anger, but like he enjoys it and he wants to be riled up about it, like he wants to be angry about it, so like he's gonna prod and poke and jab and stab until he gets what he wants, which is that those details about, oh, he's so much bigger than you, and oh, he's so much better than you, and all
Yeah,
that.
that's and I think because I think he's a rageaholic. Like he enjoys being angry, and I think in a lot of ways he's a cuckold and he doesn't know it. Like he likes to hear about all these details. He gets excited, like not excited as in like a giddy kind of way, but he gets ramped up, like and everything. It's like I say, like everything is the most disgusting it can be. Like it can't just be, did you cheat on me again tonight? It's like, did you, have his cock in your mouth and all this. Like it's just so
Yes,
extreme.
yes, yes.
Um, so yeah, so I've just got to step out for a couple of minutes. So you right to talk about kind of the next ones for a couple of minutes while
Okay,
I'm away?
okay. Yeah, yeah, of
All
course.
right, the host is now Var, so everyone.
Oh my god, and now I'm nervous.
So-
Okay, I'll try to be good, I promise. Okay. Holy shit. uh Oh my gosh. Everybody say hello to my husband. He sneaked in. Bear on a tricycle. Um, so let's continue. Predator fashion. Me, my mommy, and my daddy. We already went over that one. You guys already saw it. The next one is Miss Vagina thinking about Mr. Penis? Um, and if you are here, you probably know that yes, Miss Vagina is in fact thinking about Mr. Penis. um, excuse me. Next is Jungle Mania and Meat Rocket's interrogation. So this one is, unless you've like listened to it, you can't really hear it. So during Kenneth Brinkman's interrogation, you can hear Jay Refner in the background being interrogated because they were being interrogated in like the room right next to each other. Am I going too fast, guys? I hope I'm not going too fast because again, my edibles hit just a little while ago, and it's like, woo. Okay. Let's see. This is the last bit for this one, which is the last bit for tier two, which is every Murphy, Texas Predators charges were dropped. Um, and now there's like a bunch of different reasons out there why. Personally, and I think everybody else can agree that the suicide of Louis Conrad was the reason why. But apparently, the DA's office was opposed to the sting from the beginning, saying that they were in the business of taking care of people, not in the business of show business. And I probably quoted that wrong, but that's what they said. Not gonna lie, Meat Rocket is a dope name. It is. It is. That's one of my. That's. I think that's like my second. Please slow down. I was 87, 87 in my class. I don't know what that means. Jungle Mania had them sexy glamour shots. He really fucking did. He did. And for what? For what fucking reason? He looked like every dad at every barbecue ever. Uh yeah, Meat Rocket, for whatever reason, like he does not live up to his name. Like like he looks like a Bob's Burgers character, truly. Like it's bad. Okay. So let's continue. This next one is the beginning of tier three. And now we're sort of gonna be getting into the a little bit more darker topics. So this one here is the Florida predators that got off scot-free. And this refers to the three predators listed who escaped their charges during the Fort Myers sting. They each had the same lawyer who attacked the integrity and credibility of perverted justice and subpoenaed PJ's. Oh God, why did they write it down as PJ? So I took the notes for for these last few tiers straight up from Reddit from the post, and just set them all here in an organized fashion. So he calls perverted justice PJ, and I absolutely hate it. So I'm going to continue to call perverted justice PJ just because it makes my skin crawl. And subpoenaed PJ's hard drives. PJ refused to return them over to turn them over for whatever reason. Rumors are because it contained CP that other predators had sent them, and Michael Willis, Brian Gosling, and Thomas Moffat walked off scot-free. So yeah, that's, oh my gosh, there's so many chats now. The 88 in Meat Rocket. I've always thought that that was a little on the nose. Vastrav, do you think Meat Rocket really is a fuck no? Fuck no. Absolutely not. What? That's not even a question. Or was he lying? He's definitely lying. He is 100% lying. That is a lie if I've ever heard it. Lorne was 87th out of 87th in his class. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Lorne. Oh, Lorne. Oh boy. Okay. it sort of feels weird because I don't have anybody to like discuss it back
I'm back
to.
now.
Oh yay! Hey, I was trying to let you know.
I've actually been back for like a minute or two, but I was just enjoying listening, to you explain everything. So, and I was also
You are
using.
absolutely evil. I'm trembling. I am an anxiety-ridden creature.
Oh no, I feel terrible now. You're doing such a great job, so I thought I'd just let you go. And I was also using that
Thank
time
you.
to queue up these little pictures of our mate Jeff that Shins has sent me through. But no, you were doing great, so don't be
Oh
concerned about
yay!
that.
That makes me feel great now. Awesome. Thank you.
So here we are. Here is Jeff. Have I done it right? Oh no. Old Cornville is fucked up again.
Oh.
Um, anyway, we'll come back to that when I figure that one out. So where exactly did we get up to?
We just started tier 3.
Lovely. So I need to open up my new doc now. So you were talking about the Florida predators that got through.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I just finished reading that. I was talking about how I absolutely despise the fact that the person who wrote this abbreviated perverted justice to PJ. I hate that so fucking much. So I'm now going to forever refer to perverted justice as PJ.
Mhm.
I hate it. It makes my skin crawl.
Do you like the abbreviations? So
PJ,
what?
I don't know. It kind of makes me sound. It kind of makes it sound like penis, something PP related.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah. No,
I don't like it.
that's fair.
Okay.
Awesome. So that brings us to Lorne.
Ooh.
Lorne gets catfish and his YouTube channel. So probably keep it fairly brief because I think most people are across that. But as we were saying before, Lorne comes back onto the internet, because that's the smart thing to do, and then then gets catfished by Emma, and then obviously Tiffany Lockhart as Casey, and all these multiple ones, but just never gets it. And as we can see from the stuff that Blue Boy's been releasing, he is still getting catfished.
Oh, is he really?
He is. Have you haven't kept up with that one?
No, I can barely keep up with what we already have. I'm so confused.
That's what. Well, I'm really excited about this because I guess where you are, like that's what all this catfish stuff had already come out before I got into this, so I'd missed the excitement that comes with, hey, new content's coming, or hey, this is happening to him now.
Yes, I'm so jealous of everybody who got to experience that.
So Blue Boy on his channel, which I put a link to it in the stream the other day, but I'll flick it to you on Skype. He's releasing kind of little teaser videos of what they've got of Lorne now, and from what we can pick up, he is currently in a. Because you're aware of how after kind of he went back to jail for the second time, when he came back out, he was then getting catfished by Jamie Amy and Jamie Amy as a robot.
As like a robot?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I, assume maybe that was all over, but it seems he's still with Jamie Amy as the robot. Well, I assume as the robot, but also as Casey again.
Oh my gosh.
And they're in a throuple. Just when you think it couldn't
way.
get weirder, he is in a throuple with who he believes to be Casey Moreau. Bearing in mind this is Casey after it was revealed, no, I'm not actually Casey Moreau. I'm Winnie and all this crazy shit, but now it's back to Casey Moreau. So he cannot be stopped.
He can't believe it at this point. He can't believe it. I can't wrap my head around it. He seriously can't believe it. He can't.
I go back and forth between the level that he believes and not, and I change my mind on it all the time, but I get stuck between somewhere. I don't think he fully knows how much of a catfish it is, but I also think he doesn't want to dig too deep into it because without this, his life is incredibly lonely. And I think whether it's just subconsciously, he knows that the crushing loneliness, because he obviously struggles with it because he is open about the fact that he always has the TV on in the background. And I know at different times people are trying to say, oh, he's got stuff like, Little House on the Prairie in the background, because it's got kids in it and that. But I think it is really just he wants noise in the house. He is so lonely. He wants to
Yeah.
have just noise in the house.
Yeah, and I can sort of understand where he's coming from that with that because I hate to admit it, but you sort of are my background noise. You and all the other commentators are my background noise. Like I'm always listening to something. So something is always turned on, like on whether it's on my TV, on my phone, on my tablet, on my computer, on my laptop, whatever. I always have something turned on. So I sort of understand where he's coming from.
Oh,
Um,
100%. I'm the same. I'm always listening to calls or other streamers and that kind of stuff because
oh yeah.
I to be honest, I struggle to concentrate without something on
Hmm.
in the background. So I get
Hmm.
where he's coming from,
Yeah,
but it
but
is
it's
amazing.
Lorne. It's Lorne, so we're gonna say that he keeps Little House on the Prairie on in the background because he likes to watch little girls in skirts.
Yeah, he look, and he is an easy target. And it's also you don't feel bad for anything. But yeah, I always
I'm a
yeah.
little ruthless. I honestly don't care. Listen, I'm sorry. I hope it doesn't give you a bad name or whatever, but like I am gonna make fun of these guys for everything.
Oh
I've said
no,
it
go.
before and I've said it again. I will talk shit going down. I'll fight these motherfuckers.
No, go for it, and you're not gonna get any objections. I mean, that's what I just always like to, if I don't think something like in this instance, I personally don't think it is anything to do with his pedophilic tendencies. I mean, I think he
No, of
definitely
course
has
not.
those. I mean, I just feel like there is enough to kick this motherfucker about without kind of, but at the same time, all of this is just assumptions and interpretation. Like we don't know. Like there is every chance that that's exactly why he watches it because
Yeah.
Lorne is a massive liar. In case you hadn't noticed.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
who would know? So now on that, why don't we jump to our live kind of review of the
Oh,
Sting
of
House.
course. Of
Let's
course, of course.
Now let's just hope this works, shall we? Um, Actually, before we do that, why don't we have a palate cleanser? Because it has gotten a little.
Oh,
We're definitely getting yeah.
did I tell you that my husband showed up? He's causing havoc in in the chat. I don't know what he's doing. I can hear him laughing in the other room.
Is he in the chat?
Yes.
Who is he? Like what's his
Uh
name?
Bear on a tricycle. I can hear him laughing in the other room. I don't
G'day,
know what the fuck he's laughing about, but
g'day, bear on a tricycle. So let's watch a little bit of Aussie Man reviews while I try to figure out how to get these Jeff Stacy picks up.
ooh,
Welcome
yay.
back to another Celebrating Too Early compilation. This bloke decides to pop a big bloody wheelie as he heads for the finish line. If this was a big wheelie competition, he'd be up there with the greatest. Unfortunately, it's a regular race and he's lost. This bloke is on the home stretch. He thanks everyone for coming. Staff members are paid with high fives. Meanwhile, a focused athlete approaches. There's a dodgy block.
He tries to block him.
Victory. He's like, yeah, nah, the race was done. It was done. Just give us a hug and shut up about it. Over at the cricket, he struck that well. It's surely going to be 4 runs. It's going. No, it's fucking gassed out. Piss poor cardio by the ball. In comes Mitchell Stark. He chucks it to the wicket. The batsmen are relaxing, and that's out. What a glorious fuck up by Team Pakistan. The Aussies are like, good work. Let's go to the pub for a beer and a chicken palmy with chips. The only thing on the menu for Azhar Ali is a piece of humble pie. If there's one sport where people usually celebrate too early, it's volleyball. It looks like this will be out, but this Sheila says, go, gadget leg, and she keeps it in. Her teammate pops it up, and blue team is fucked. The suspense of a penalty shot becoming a balls up is one of the greatest elements of soccer. He strikes it, goalie stops it, but he's like, I put spin on it. The goalie celebrates to a crowd of 10 people. Look at the spin, yes, it's a goal. I reckon he is an underrated genius. He knew the goalie was an arrogant prick, he knew how to do a spinny shot, and that is perfection. Here's a nice little putt. Why not point your club like it's a shotgun to celebrate? right. Oh, shit idea. I'm definitely all for audience engagement, but don't fucking do it when there's a fella with a determined face chasing you. Determined faces always win. That is sensational. He celebrates right on time just to rub it in. Kazan the genie is like, I'm gonna eat a spicy chip. He takes a bite and reckons he can't feel a thing. The Carolina Reaper is weak as piss, apparently.
There's nothing to me.
No, he admits it now. He is fucked. He regrets all of his trash talking and runs away to chunder in the toilet. Oh dear me, more audience engagement, taunting his opponents, self-congratulatory fist pumps. Little does he know that was not the final lap. It is not time to head to the pub for a beer and a chicken palmy with chips. He refuses to face reality. Actually, I think cyclists give volleyball players a run for their money when it comes to celebrating too early. Hands go up and another dickhead bites the dust.
Oh my gosh.
Dun, dun, dun. Another dickhead bites the dust. And another one.
My gosh.
And another one. Come on, run over the finish line. Just run over it casually. No, don't do a trick. He decided to do a trick. He's broken his ankle. The other guy says, quit blocking the finish line. He runs over it like a sensible person. Look at his face, committed to doing the trick. He launches it and there's the fucking break. Staff members are like, you broke your ankle. You broke your ankle trying to do a trick.
Oh my gosh.
That
looks so painful. Holy shit.
Well, back on loud. Hang on.
Best time.
Out.
So while you're sitting here laughing, you're getting roasted in the chat.
Yes, I have noticed some of that. So, Winnie's boyfriend/husband asked, can I acknowledge him for his sick burn, which is, he listens to me when he goes to bed. He bores me right to sleep. You're acknowledged. So, but imagine having the neediness of having to ask to be acknowledged. I mean, really.
Dang.
And g'day to Dr. Cassandra Elizabeth Bond. How are you? I noticed you come in there before, and also Lorne's Wet Salad. I still love that name. That is one of my favourite names.
Is that a reference to something?
So
I've heard it
is.
a while, but...
Well, it is. So when I was at the end of one of my streams and I was watching one of Lorne's reality shows, we're watching him make salad, and like at one point, Lorne comments on how wet it is, like as if that's something you're looking for in salad is the wetness, and so then all of a sudden Lorne's Wet Salad appeared, like, you know, he was manifested into life by Lorne's disgusting food. I actually think I figured out how to do this now. So let's look at Jeff. Wake up, Jeff. Oops, I spoke too soon. I thought I was better than I am. So let's jump into this Lorne thing.
Yes.
You ready for me? You're beautiful.
even just seeing the house makes me laugh. Like
it's so weird and awkward.
Yep. And Gorilla Face Gwen, I didn't do any voiceovers for the Big Les show. I've never done any voiceovers.
Hey, I'm glad you could come.
And thanks, Jeff. I'm glad you're awake. You're much better than that other guy. Yeah, sorry. Let's go back because I ruined that.
You're beautiful.
Hey, I'm glad you could come. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
And remember, everybody, he didn't want to go there. See how reluctant he is as he comes in?
He hates every second of this. Look at this man. He's in agony. How dare you assume that he was giddy coming into this house?
She is literally dragging him in. Like, I mean, he's
Ugh.
grabbing the door jamb, trying everything he can not to go in there, and this Casey is just ripping him in there. Like, no, motherfucker, you're coming in.
Get in here.
Terrible.
Really? How come?
Oh, actually, it was alright.
Oh. Well, look, we got these new chairs.
And that's just more of Lorne's. Everything's a cliche. Like, obviously the drive wasn't bad. He made it there in like an hour, whatever it was, which he was an hour away. And then he's like, oh no, it was all right. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like he can't react normally to everything. He's seen on shows that people might say, oh, that was terrible. So he's like, oh, terrible.
I think because he hasn't had enough life experience in general,
Yep.
he just does things that he sees on TV.
Oh, I agree.
Sit down.
I have to sit down?
Yeah, look. It's a massager
Oh my
chair.
God,
It
look
vibrates
at that.
when you press the buttons.
Look, oh my god.
Oh
Yeah,
my
flip the
God.
switches.
Which one is it?
You can use either one of them. It tells you there's one for your butt, there's one for your lower back, and there's one for your upper back.
I just felt my butt. I think.
Oh
You
God,
can pretty
burn
much
that
tell the
damn
difference
chair.
when you press it.
Holy,
Yep.
yep.
And like, I love that they had this chair there. Now, I don't know if it was just coincidence, because I know, these thing houses, they basically rent them from the owners to do these kind of things. So it's obviously all fully furnished, however that homeowner is. And I think, because I listened to Chris Hansen's podcast, where he talks about the kind of different predators, and he's mentioned in the Bowling Green Sting that this was like the homeowner was basically selling it at this point, I think. At least one of the houses where it does all get confusing. But I do also like to think that they're like, let's have this recliner so they can put it up so it puts them in this really uncomfortable position when Chris comes out.
Oh yes, how they have to like sit up and like adjust themselves to like greet him now. It's so good. I love it.
Exactly, and they're stuck in this thing because you can't really get up, because obviously Chris is going to say no, don't get up. So they obviously want to get up. I mean, who wants to be sitting there basically with your legs up, looking like you're sitting back watching Seinfeld while this is happening? So they're stuck in this weird void. Like, it is very good, and if that was planned, kudos to them.
Oh yeah.
Feels so good, right?
I thought you.
And Dan, he's my man. G'day. And this is Vast Ravioli.
Hello.
And so she does TCAP analysis videos, and her channel is in the description. So please jump over there once you finish listening to us here, of course.
You had blonde hair.
Do you like it? I dyed it
I
myself.
think it's pretty.
Thank you.
It's very pretty.
Once again, another red flag, but just doesn't register. It's
Does not compute.
yeah, it's like, I should be worried about this, but you are actually physically here in person, so it's not.
But you are a physical manifestation of a human female, so fuck it, I guess.
That's it, and it's
You're breathing. Hell yeah.
That's right. And g'day, Lorne Identity. Great to see you, mate. And Swifty and Crotein. But that's like that's the thing. Like, she is completely different. Like, Casey plays her completely different to the way Kayla was in the chat, and it doesn't even register him. And I think it's more than just, like, he is a bit taken aback, I think, but he just doesn't care, because Kayla basically says nothing. She's completely submissive, whereas Casey's like, basically, you'll come in, you'll sit here, this kind of thing. She's got the powerful stance, standing on, it's like, and everything is, so it's great.
Oh yeah.
Where's
Oh
the
my
pizza?
God.
I was waiting to eat because I thought you were bringing some.
I don't want to bring you any pizza.
Well, weren't you going to bring me something?
Well, yes, I was. And I did.
Did you bring any condoms?
Yes, I did.
Where are they?
Out in the truck.
Well, what good are they going to do in the truck if we're in here?
Well, yell at me, why don't you?
There it is.
So
I
I
haven't
haven't
had a
started your
kiss yet.
Shopify store?
Oh my
What are
gosh,
you
shush.
eating?
Oh, okay. Well, then what did you want to do?
Well, I want to kiss first.
And then what?
Can I have a kiss first?
Well, let's talk first. We just got
Okay.
here.
Would you like me to go out in the truck and get my stuff?
No, it's all right.
No? You don't want your thing right now? Present I gave you?
Well, what is it?
And you know the other thing that I've always thought, like, they planned this extensively. Well, sorry, Lorne planned this extensively. And even though it changed a lot of the times because, you know, he only had such little money, so he couldn't figure out if he had enough fuel to go there and back and then there and back again. But the final plan here that they spoke about was that, you know, watch out for my truck, have your bag ready, and, you know, as soon as you see my truck, show yourself, which obviously that was his plan to try to make sure that he wasn't going to get arrested. Like, I think in his head, he thinks, if I rock up there and Kayla's there, I'm good. Like, 'cause I think he thought, if this is something to be worried about, I'm going to be arrested on sight, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that was their plan, yet it changes. You know, she's like, come in, so he comes in, and then he's like, you want me to go get, you know, the stuff from my truck, referring to the condoms and that, as if he's staying. Like, the whole thing that he worked on changed in an instant, and he just rolled with it. It's just got no agency, you know what I mean?
I don't know if it shows like a lack of what? Because I can't chalk it up. I wish I could like chalk it up to, oh, this guy's just fucking stupid, but like in my heart I can't, you know, like I can't tell people that they're stupid, but I there's nothing else to describe it.
No, that's right. Like that's.
How else are you supposed to describe Lorne to somebody else other than fucking stupid?
Well, he is. I know some people have said they've managed to get their friends into this and that, but he is near impossible to explain. Like I can't even explain myself why I am so interested in him. He's an enigma.
It really is. It's weird to try to explain it to other people too, because it's like, oh, this dude is like literally so gross and just nasty. He's icky and disgusting, and why would you even want to like associate yourself with him? But it's like, he says funny things sometimes. He does.
And Shin's Koala says, I think if it went any longer, he would have begged for her to come over, or he would have gone over there. And I agree with that. And I think, you know, because he is very meek and he is very timid, and while we listen to him on the phone calls, you know, yelling and screaming at people, you see what happens when things, like, you know, he reckons he'll beat the shit out of everyone, but when he thinks that people are driving past his house, he hides in the woods. So he is not confrontational, and he is a coward, but at some point, I agree with Shins, at some point this kept going, he's going to get to the point where he's going to say, well, you know, we'll come, kind of like Dustin did, you know what I mean? I'm asking you to come over here, and, you know, like, it would have got to that.
My husband just said that Lorne is a fusion of Chris Chan and Gollum.
I know very surface level of Chris Chan, but from what I know, I think your husband's hit the nail on the head there.
Oh no, he definitely has.
Let's
not go down that road.
No, I think my understanding is that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
If you want it to be a can of worms, it is.
Right. I'll leave that one for now then, maybe.
Oh yes, definitely.
Well, I can't tell you. That wouldn't be much of a present if I told you.
Well, you can go get it in a little bit or something, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
A little bit, not as bad.
His little squeaks and his little kiddling already.
I hate it because I make those noises too. And, like, I can't help it.
Yep.
And it's so fucking annoying. I hate Lorne so much.
But he does. He makes you self-conscious about stuff. Like, and it's...
Yes.
Like, even
I don't want to be like him in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to do things that he does.
No, you don't want to be like him at all. Like, even if you get mad about something, you're like, oh, that was a bit Lorny. Like, you don't want to be... you don't want to be like Lorne.
Just thought you would be.
Not as bad, but I still am kind of nervous.
And that's true, Smokey the Cat. The joke's on us now, because these two here are 66% of an active throuple, as Smokey the Cat said.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I completely forgot. They got back together.
And this puts into context how crazy it is of this catfish that seems to be going on now. Like, these two here, that you know, Casey, the one that was basically a big part of what got him his notoriety and his infamy, he is now believed for the third time is actively interested in him. It is just amazing.
I'd rather like talk a little bit first.
And that's what I can't wait. I can't wait to find out more about this active catfish.
I know, I'm so excited.
Because I just need to know, how did this happen? Like, because I'd heard the videos that Reborn was putting out of Jamie Amy and that. So how did we get from him talking to robot Jamie Amy to Casey being oh my God.
I think Lorne is just as confused as I am, if I'm completely honest with you, because I don't think he's following, because how could you follow? It's so crazy and convoluted and insane. I mean, it's supposed to be, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's it. And it is hard to follow. And I mean, I obviously spend a large part of my time either listening to calls, talking about calls, that kind of stuff, and I'm constantly getting stuff wrong, which I'm very thankful when people correct me in the chat, because I get stuff wrong. So how, I know this is his life, but he's also an idiot. So how is he expected to keep track of it? And on top of that, even when he kind of does twig a bit, he's so easily just convinced, nah. Like, I mean, like when because obviously Tiffany Lockhart was the original Casey, and then she came back as Debbie, and she does have a very distinctive voice. And, it wasn't like she changed her voice. She sounded the same as Casey does Debbie. And he says, I've spoken to you before. He can't place where, which that's crazy, but he says, and she's basically just spends 2 minutes saying, no, you haven't. I don't know what you're talking about, Lorne. And then he just accepts it. He's just like, oh, okay. Whatever, Louie.
And then
I think I've heard one or two. Oh, sorry.
I've
heard one or two calls where he has almost figured out that something is wrong, but he had to be like really, really fucking drunk.
That's right, and that's the funny thing too. He seems to be more aware, when he is drunk. Like, the drunker he is, like, it's usually the reverse. The reverse, usually the drunker you are,
I guess he's just that fucking stupid, man. Like, he just goes full circle when he's drunk.
Yeah.
He just goes right back to smart.
Yeah, and I think obviously when the drunker you are, the more your guard's down in that. And I think at that point he is that inebriated, he's just a bit over it, and he feels more comfortable to call it out. He feels more comfortable to say, oh, you're fucking with me, that kind of stuff. But then when he sobers up, he's like, either forgets it, or, we'll never understand this guy.
More comfortable,
That's like cool.
Oh, thank you, Gorilla Face Gwen. I will check this Geno Samuel out one day when I want to try to understand this Chris Chan that everyone talks about.
Good. I'm really glad.
I like seeing you in person.
Yeah, I like seeing you too.
Good.
So
This is getting hot. How come?
Oh, because press the red button. It's like heater too.
You gonna have a seat too?
I like to sit on the edge of chairs.
Do you?
Yeah.
Pretty comfortable there.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
All right. How are you doing?
What's happening?
Not too much.
Not too much.
She's
Boston?
still telling him, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just want to go back, because this is one of my favourite moments in right there, that look on his face, because he sees Chris out of the corner of his eye, and it's that shocked look. And so not only the fact it's a funny face, but this is where his life changed, this exact moment. Like, I don't know if you watched The Simpsons, or did watch The Simpsons, but that episode where Ralph likes Lisa and asks her to be his Valentine, and they're on the Krusty show, and he asks her.
Oh my gosh, yes, and he's like, you can pinpoint the moment where like.
Yep, that's what I feel like this is, like where Bart's going. You can pinpoint the moment where his heart breaks. Like right here, I feel like simultaneously Lorne's heart breaks, and it also, like there is before this moment and after this moment for Lorne. Like his life is changed from this moment. This is where he realizes, holy fuck. And I know everyone has different theories on who he thinks Chris is. At least at this point, I think he thinks this is Dr. Moore. Because he doesn't watch, these kind of shows. He would have, he would never have thought this was a
A reporter.
a reporter. I think in his mind the options are this is Dr. Moore or this is the cops. But he's looking at him and he's like, he's not dressed like a detective, and he's like, so I think this is, and that's why at the start it's a bit of the old, he's a bit friendly with him. He's like, hello, sir, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, so he's like, this is Dr. Moore. I've just got to put on the Lorne charm, and the worst I'm looking at here is an ass kicking from this guy. But then I can go back to Maine, get a Bud Light, and lick my wounds, that kind of thing. He has no idea how bad this is. Because that's what, like, Lorne always seems to think that everyone wants the best for him. Like, he'll talk about his probation officers, they don't want to, he says at one stage, just before he goes back to jail, and one of the catfish say to him, you're probably going to go to jail. So, no, they don't want to send me to jail. They know I'm doing good and all this kind of stuff. Like, they don't. None of these people from this point on in your life want the best for you. But
I feel like he just took people saying, oh, we don't want you to go to jail and things like that whenever he's crying or whatever. I feel like he just takes that and runs with it.
Yeah, he hears what he wants to hear, in my opinion. Like, and even right down to inflection. Like he talks about in prison, like, one of the members of the Crips or the Bloods or whatever was like, even they said I wasn't a predator. And he hears that as, mate, you're not a predator. You're a good guy. You're not a predator. But what they're probably saying is like, what? You're a predator? Referring to the fact that he's this tiny little weak motherfucker. Like, you ain't no predator, motherfucker. Like but he hears it differently. And that's what I think he sits here and he thinks that, if I can just show that, hey, I've had a lot of troubles in my life. This is why all the sob stories come out. He's going to go, you know what, Lorne? I'm not happy with what you've been doing with my daughter, but as long as you don't talk to her ever again, you get out of here. I'm not going to take it any further. Like, he thinks I've got this man of control, which he clearly doesn't.
Hi, sir.
How are you?
All right, how are you doing?
What's happening?
Not too much.
Not too much? You a Boston fan?
Yeah, actually, I don't even watch baseball.
Oh, but it's a Boston Cap.
It's a Boston Cap, yeah.
So what are you up to tonight?
Not a whole lot.
And isn't that
Not
weird?
a whole lot.
I mean, sports memorabilia is what fans of teams wear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a sports fan, you wear your team.
He's not in the South, but people in the South, at least where I'm familiar with, tend to just wear caps just as a fashion statement, just to wear them. So it doesn't really matter what kind of cap it is, as long as it's a cap.
Yeah, okay,
So I sort of feel like that's what he's going, like, he just saw it. It was like on sale one day and he bought it and he just never takes it off.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I think also too, he gets a lot of stuff from Goodwill or whatever, or dollar stores and that. But I just always, and it's probably just my way of looking at it, because like I'm pretty into sports and I've got a few different teams that I follow. Like, I would never wear the colours or the thing of a rival team like that. But I always think, okay, he's probably just grabbed this. But I mean, there'll be other shit, like you see in other videos, he's wearing a Chevy hat and that. Like, why wear a Boston cap? Because people will go, like, if you're around about and you're wearing, a cap to do with your team, they'll be, they'll interact with you and that. And like say, go them, or, fucking Green Bay.
Ask you a question.
Yeah, Green Bay sucks, or, that kind of shit. But, it's just so funny where it's like, oh, I don't even follow baseball. And then Chris is like, but it's a Boston cap. Like, even Chris is saying, what the fuck, man? Like,
Not a whole lot?
No.
Well, I tell you, for the last several days, you've been up to a lot. You're a pretty prolific chatter there.
The crossing of the leg.
yes.
He just gets comfy.
Not really. I'd never
I'm gonna be here a while.
was going to do anything.
You weren't really going to do anything.
No.
So you brought condoms. What else did you bring?
I brought her a bracelet.
A bracelet. And she is how old?
She's Supposed to be 13.
Supposed to be 13.
Supposed to
And
be
how old are
13.
you?
Oh boy.
And I know there's conjecture around this. I think some people think he says supposedly 13, or supposed to be 13. But either way, they're both funny because it has a connotation of I'm so disappointed that she's not. Like,
Yep.
supposed to be 13.
37
37. You have kids?
today. No, unfortunately.
And that is, I
Oh my
wish,
gosh, when he says unfortunately after
Yes.
Chris asks if he has kids.
Yep. That's like two things there. Like, I wish that they picked up that he said today because I just wanted to hear Chris say, "Well, happy birthday." You know, what are you
That
what are you
would've been
thinking of
so
it so
funny.
far? But that's right. Like when he says, "Unfortunately," I mean, this is another example of Lorne having absolutely no awareness to the situation, and he does this. I mean, this is repetitive for him. Like on his YouTube channel, he starts up with, he sings "I Loved Her" first. Oh, like really, mate? Like, is that the song you should be singing? And he says it all the time about, you know. And it was even in the stream I did yesterday. He talks about, oh, I always wanted to help kids, and now I've got to help kids from afar. Like, you were sitting on this chair in front of someone holding your month-long chat log with a child. You are currently, you know, a nationally famous sexual predator, pedophile, and you're lamenting the fact that you don't have kids. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. He has no room to speak.
It's just amazing, and it's amazing that he doesn't have that awareness. And g'day, Tiffany Lockhart. Great to see you.
I've got nieces, though,
Nieces.
that
You bogan.
I think the world of.
Yeah, you talk about your nieces in the chat here. And you talk about how you like to spoil the nieces and how you would like to spoil this 13-year-old girl like you spoil your nieces.
Yeah.
Is this the way you spoil young women?
No.
Now, what's your name?
This is what I was afraid of.
What were you afraid of?
Stupid move.
What were you afraid
Stupid
of?
move. It's all the quotes. All the quotes.
She was a nice girl. And
She was a nice girl. You still haven't told me your name, though.
it's Lorne
Lorne what?
Armstrong
Armstrong. And where do you live, Lorne?
in Nashville now.
Nashville. What do you do in Nashville?
Nothing.
Actually, I work at a construction company.
And what do you
Gym for a church.
build?
I just started there last week. Building a gym for a church.
A gym for a church.
Do for
Is it a good job?
Yeah.
Now, besides all this chat here, and we'll go through that in a minute, you also sent a whole bunch of pictures.
Gosh, just flipping through all
Why would you
of
think
them.
that's...
Yeah, keep going.
He's just flipping through everything. Just
I
has
know.
to flip to find the thing he's talking about.
That's right.
Like,
and
Oh.
it's so good, and like that's what I mean. This was the last thing they did because, you know, after the guy in Murphy, Texas killed himself, like they didn't
Yeah.
get any more. But like this is, you know, Chris is at the peak of his powers here. Like, you know, he's done so many of these now. He's just, I mean, he's always done these very well. But the way he strides out and this while he's walking, he flips through that chat log to, you know, just show how big it is. Like he is the boss. He is the boss in this.
That's appropriate.
It's not.
Those are all your pictures.
Flips it over.
Is that all you do in your spare time?
No.
Are you sure, Lorne? Because like it kind of sounds to me anyway. I'm not a Lorneographer or anything, but it kind of sounds to me like Home Dog is always naked.
He does love being naked, and that's what, you know, when you're listening to the calls and you know there's a fair chance he's naked. And that's what I think, like when he's screaming with his fucking headset on, standing in his trailer naked screaming is just the weirdest you know, mental picture.
But he seems to associate nudity with like extremely sexual like things, you know? Like,
Well, yeah,
he thinks that if you're naked, that just must means you're going to fuck. Like,
absolutely.
that's what he believes. So, like, he just runs around naked. Like,
Yeah,
I hate thinking about that, but it's such an interesting aspect about him.
yeah, and you're exactly right. Like that's what he's. I mean, that's what he says in the chat log. You know, once we're married, we'll be naked all the time. Like, you know, like it's just all.
Yeah.
It's just Yeah, it's just so he. It's just weird the way
It's like
his mind works.
he doesn't understand that the thing that people find about being naked attractive is certain body parts, not the act of being naked itself.
No, absolutely.
You ever get in trouble like this before?
No, I've never done this before.
You've never done it before.
Uh-huh.
Well, Lord, that's not exactly true. Who's Molly?
Have you ever met anybody in person who you first met online in a chat room?
No.
This is the first time. So
Yeah.
what made you, all of a sudden, for the first time, get online, chat up a 13-year-old girl, and drive up from Nashville to meet her for sex?
No, I didn't.
Lorne. You send her naked photos.
I mean, he doesn't know what to say. I mean, it's probably the one thing you can't blame him for. I mean, what the fuck do you say? Like, he is
You
just...
can't really say anything. You just got to sit there and take it like a good girl because
Like, it is just over for him. It's done.
yeah, there's nothing you can say or do in this situation. You're up against a wall, man. Just sit there and take it.
That's it, mate. You're cooked.
You have an explicit
Yeah.
conversation, and you bring condoms. What does that add up to?
I know.
And it just gets worse and worse. His face gets worse and worse, and like even his chest, goes in and out a lot more when as he's breathing heavier. But like it's like he almost associates. Like he just tries to go to a happy place. Like he's barely answering questions. He's just like, I could always, and I think probably everyone's had experiences in their life where it's almost like an out of body experience. Yeah, like if you kind of feel numb in that, and that's what I imagine is happening for him right now. Like he can't, because I don't think he, in the range of things that could happen when he went there tonight, this wasn't on his radar. Like I think he thought, you know, the options are, you know, Kayla's there, everything we discussed has happened, and you know it's the happiest time in his life. The options are the Yahoo police found out somehow, and basically when I get there, there will be lights and sirens, you know, going, and I'll be done. And I think that's why he does his drive-by. He has a look, there's no, and that's why he wanted Kayla to be out on the doorstep, because like he sees no police cars, he sees Casey/Kayla, and he's like, cool, I'm right. But yeah, getting caught and sitting down with Chris just wasn't an option for him, so he is just shell-shocked.
Oh yes, definitely. I believe that Lorne right now is dissociating and just blocking this entire thing out.
Yep.
I really think that he's taking like a very childish approach. And like I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever.
No,
But
no,
like
you're right.
for example, the way that I experienced things when I was very young, if something traumatic was happening to me, all that I did was that I blocked it out and I dissociated and I went to my happy place and I was okay for that time being. So like you said, Lorne was going to this happy place. I think he's dissociating and just blocking this out because he says later on that he had forgotten a lot of things, and while he probably was saying that just to, you know, get out of, you know, whatever little situations he was weaseling himself into, I believe that he definitely, this part here, he does not remember because he was dissociating. He wasn't there for it.
Yep. No, I think you're right there. That's well put. G'day, Poop Frog.
At first, you seem like the Good Samaritan. the protector. Don't tell me your last name. Don't ever tell anyone from the internet your last name, okay? Okay, why? Because there are some real weirdos.
And do you notice he lifts his head up there? Like he was down and because we're talking, like he's talking about kind of obviously the best stuff. He's like, you know, you're the protector and that. Even just slightly, he lifts his head up a bit. Like it's like almost like maybe, you know, maybe we're not going to get to the tough stuff, as he puts it, or the rough stuff. Sorry, when he reads his chat log, he's like, yeah, now we're getting to the rough stuff.
Goes on here sometimes, and they might try to go looking for you. So don't ever tell them your last name, your address, your phone number, the town you live in, or the school you go to.
He's got tiny eyes, doesn't he? Like little
He really,
beady
really
little
does.
eyes. Yeah.
He has such a punchable face.
Oh,
and I don't say that
absolutely.
just because I hate it. I hate him, but like he really does have like a face that you can just fit your whole fist onto.
Especially when he's happy. Like I do hate seeing him happy. Like he just you know is really smart. But like that's what I always think about Lorne. Like, I mean, with his hat off, he is obviously very unattractive. But like even at this age with his hat on, if you didn't know anything about him, if you just passed him in the street, it wasn't like you'd go, "Holy fuck, that guy is ugly." Like you would, like you know what I mean. He's not just a Timberlake as he thinks, but everything else about him just makes him uglier and uglier. Like the more you know about him, the worse he is. But
Oh yeah.
you know, that's what I think. When you look, there's some photos floating around of him when he's younger and that. Like, he's not the worst looking guy going around. If he wasn't such a creep, he probably would have, you know, not still been a virgin at the age of fucking 50 or whatever he is.
You're one of those.
But I mean, he can't go back now. Like he's fucked now. Like he looks.
Wait for him.
Each day he gets worse looking, and you know he's Lorne, and everyone.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Weirdos. I mean, was that some kind of a ruse to gain her trust?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. So how did it go from, hey, be
Look
careful,
at him
don't give
fucking
anybody your last
puckering his
name, to,
lips.
hi, here's some naked pictures of myself and I'm coming over with condoms?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, you must know something.
And his mouth is so dry. So, like,
Oh my gosh.
right at the end of his interrogation with the cops, where he's like, "Can I have a drink of water?" I'm like, "Mate, you've been wanting that water for hours."
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, help me to understand this.
I don't know
What do
why.
you don't know?
I even did.
You don't know why you did it. Well, I think I know why you did it. You did it because you wanted to have sex with a 13-year-old girl.
I
Yep.
don't think that.
No, what?
I don't think that was it.
You don't think it was it? Well, why don't you help me out? Why don't you tell me what it was then?
Because I wasted 5 years of my life on the internet talking to girls that gained my trust.
Oh, here we
And
fucking
seemed like
Yep.
somebody I
go.
could trust.
Here comes the sob story.
Good trust.
Oh my god.
So when you say you spent 5 years on the internet, what, getting taken advantage of by women? In what way?
In every way.
For instance.
I was up in Washington State. I started.
And this is a small thing to get hung up on, but like he says, in every way, like the way he was taken advantage of is financially, essentially. Like she got him. If this story is true, she, you know, convinced him to send her Dale Earnhardt merchandise, which I understand he's a big deal in the NASCAR world. I still think that's odd to be asking for that kind of merchandise, but whatever. Like maybe that's what she's into. But you say every way. The only way was financially. She didn't take advantage of you physically or anything like that. You were taken advantage of in one way. But it's just, I don't know. It's just like I say, it's a pretty stupid thing to get caught up on, but still.
Yeah.
That's when I
it
started
really
going on
is.
the internet.
When you lived in Washington State, you started going on the internet, and what happened?
I met a girl, and she said her name was Amanda James, and she told me that,
Shout
that
out.
her daughter was her niece, and that she was watching her niece. Well, she was actually had custody of her niece.
And then?
3 years later, I moved back.
And see, right there, like he does have a real obsession or focus or whatever on nieces. Like you know, and it's like, you know, she had a daughter. She said was a niece. Like it's like he's fucked off that she wasn't actually his niece. Like why is that a pertinent part of this story? Like
I fear for the safety of his nieces. Like, I'm not gonna say anything. Like, this is strictly my opinion and nobody else's, but I fear for the safety of his nieces at that point, and I hope that they have healed from whatever has happened.
yeah, absolutely, and we don't know, and we'll never know what if anything had happened, and I don't know, and I'm not going to throw out he did this or this. I mean, I think it'd be safe to assume he was definitely creepy around them, and even by some
Oh,
of his own
yes.
things, he talks about how she was on the internet and he was got mad. Like he definitely would have been. At the absolute best case scenario, he would have been a terrible influence. Like, he talks about how basically he'd let them run wild there and they were writing shit on the walls and that like that. But we know that his nieces don't talk to him anymore. So, and that could be one or two things. That could be because something happened there and, now that they're adults, they realise that, hey, that was more than, roughhousing or whatever.
Yes.
And it could just be the fact that they're ashamed and disgusted of their uncle who is a nationwide pedophile. So it could be either, but, the whole nieces thing, the way he focuses on that so much is
Yeah.
concerning.
To Maine, just to be close to her because she lived in Pennsylvania. And I didn't date anyone, I didn't see anyone because of her.
All right, so what happened?
I got back to Maine and I was talking to her on the phone, and she, my sister wanted to say hi to her, and my sister had been on the internet for a couple of years, and she was able to read people pretty good.
And what happened?
Oh my
And
god.
she got on the phone with her.
I mean, that's the thing. He's so dramatic about this story. It's like there's going to be some revelation here that's going to shock Chris to his core. Like he's building up to the moment where Chris goes, "Oh my God, Lorne, this explains so much."
And she,
And it's such a mediocre story.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you could come up with, really?
That's right. The best you got.
after she got off the phone, she was only on the phone with her for about 2 minutes, and she got off the phone with her and told me that she wasn't real.
She wasn't real.
She told me she was lying to me, and she'd been lying to me all along.
Did you ever meet this woman? Did you send her money?
I sent her money. I sent her all kinds of Dale Earnhardt things.
Dale Earnhardt things.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. things. She was Dale.
The race car driver.
Yeah.
And so because you got taken advantage by a couple of women on the internet, you thought it was okay to take advantage of a 13-year-old girl on the internet.
No, I didn't.
You didn't.
Yes, he did.
I'm very happy that you talked to me before talking to anyone else, though. This way, you'll be safe.
That's what I meant too. I don't know how.
You don't know how what?
I don't know how I let it lead to this.
Well, here, let me take you down the road. This is how it went. You started with this, and then it goes to, so this is as thick as a telephone book, by the way, this chat. You started chatting with her when? Last month? So you've been chatting with this young woman for a month. And so it starts with you being the protective older brother type. And we flip through dozens and dozens of pages here. And ultimately, it builds into a very sexually explicit conversation. Right? I wish I were sticking it in you right now.
Oh, gross. And he never changes his dirty talk, ever.
No, everything is always sticking, sticking into...
Shoving.
Sticking into her core. I mean, that was fucking weird in Taken Abroad where he's talking about that. But I love here where he's like sticking it into you and then the camera like zooms into his face. Like, let's see his reaction to that.
You tell her to delete her archives after we stop talking again, okay? Why did you want her to delete her archives? Help me out.
I
You didn't want to get in trouble.
I didn't want her to get in trouble by her parents.
Didn't want her to get in trouble by her parents.
Absolutely.
Shut the fuck up.
That's his only concern. He's got, he is no concern for his own well-being. Just didn't want her to get in trouble with the parents. I mean, leaving out the fact that, Lorne, if she got in trouble with her parents for talking to you, you obviously know the trouble that you would be getting in. Like, he says it, and I know he is just saying this to try to sound like a good guy. Like, he had no thoughts about his own preservation. He was only that. But that's clearly bullshit. But, it's like also, when you say that, what did you think the reaction would be? So, Mr. Moore comes along, finds your disgusting chat, and he's just going to get mad at her. Like, he's not going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? He's just going to be mad. But I always love, what I love about the delete your archives bit, is he will say delete your archives and then say incriminating shit right after that. So it's like, he has don't you think? Like, he has in his head, okay, all I've got to do to stay not found out here is get a deleted archives. But then it'll be like, are they deleted? Do you want to see it again? So, theoretically, Mr. Moore comes along and all the other stuff's deleted, but he sees this Lorne _ A_214 saying, do you want to see it again? Are they deleted? And he's not going to think that's weird. Like, oh, this boy from school asked some funny things. Like,
I totally don't know how to use context clues.
And g'day, Shayshank. Cornville Ferrer, be honest, were you the one who told Lorne Casey to delete those archives? Yeah, I went back in time and it was Lorne. That if I could go back in time, teaching this motherfucker how to stay safe would not be what I was doing.
This goes on and on and on. Do you think naughty thoughts about me before you go to sleep?
Lorne, are you crying?
Yes. Are you crying, Lorne? Yes.
You talk about getting married to her. Getting married. She's 13. Huh?
When she was 18.
Whoa. What do you mean she was 18?
I meant when she was 18.
Oh, you were going to marry her when she turned 18.
That's no
But
better.
you're just going to have sex with her from the age of 13 to
Yeah.
Are you excited about me or my penis?
And the eyes close.
Did you bring anything else with you tonight?
Besides your penis.
and the condoms.
What?
And the janky $5 bracelet.
Oh,
Like
yes.
anything?
Nope.
Food, alcohol.
Nope.
So just the bracelet and the condoms.
And Smokey the Cat says, do I think they intentionally single-sided this chat log to really emphasise the thickness? I mean, potentially, but even double-sided, it would still be pretty fucking thick. But they most likely did, because they obviously really highlight, how thick that is.
Nothing else. What do you think ought to happen to you? Oh, here's a good one. Is Miss Vagina thinking about Mr. Penis?
And see, that's another thing.
There it is.
Whenever I hear him, sorry, I'll rewind because I've interrupted that. But whenever I hear him go, what do you think should happen to you? I always hear John Wesley Adlet go, sent to an island.
Second Island.
But
Yes, oh my god.
I'll jump back a little bit there.
What do you think ought to happen to you? Oh, here's a good one. Is Miss Vagina thinking about Mr. Penis? What is she thinking?
It's so
I'm
bad.
gonna cry.
And that's where the tears come. His face is so good.
What do you think ought to happen to you? Help me out.
I think I should go to counseling to get off the internet.
You should go to counseling and get off the internet.
Good night, Cat G. Thanks for being here.
Did you ever say to yourself, hey man, I got a problem here?
No, because I never thought I did.
You never thought you did. Does this incident make you think that perhaps you have a problem? What are you going to do about it?
And that is shocking that he says he never thought he had a problem. Now, I don't believe that that's the case, but how could you not know? Like, how could you think that this is fine?
I feel like Lorne didn't think that a problem would be formed until he actively did something violent against a child. I think that's what he's thinking.
Yeah. So if it's just chatting that, like, it's not that big a deal. That would be the way. I mean, this is the guy that, years after prison is still saying things like, children have feelings too. I mean, this is the mindset we're dealing with.
And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, children do have feelings, but children can't consent to being in a romantic or sexual relationship with an adult.
Absolutely.
There is something completely different between having feelings and being able to feel something and being able to consent to being in a relationship and doing something about those feelings.
Yeah, and in the call I did last night where he's talking about, when he gives an example after he says that, children can have feelings too, and Debbie calls him out on that. And he's like, oh, well, my brother or whatever it was, they are still married now, whatever, like, and got into a relationship when they were 15. Like, but he can't see that, well, they were both 15, Lorne. They're both kids. Like, that's completely different. Like, he can't see.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, either willfully or not, he cannot see how that's different.
Do some things I can't
crazy.
do that. Oh my God.
Well,
Cord.
do you ever watch television much? You ever watch a program called Dateline NBC?
Somewhat television.
Well, there's something I got to tell you. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on a Now, you're free to walk out of this house right now.
Every time.
But if there's anything else you want to say,
I've watched that
now's the time to
so many times, and I still laugh. And, Cord!
say it.
And the hat comes down like, oh no, I don't want to be on TV. Little late for that
Yeah,
dog.
it never gets old.
Here we go.
Sheriff's office, down! Get down! Put your hands on your back.
Get down, bitch.
And the hat comes off. Oh, that was good. That was fun.
Wow.
Right, let's get our little thing back on. So, do you remember where we got up to?
Oh. Lorne gets catfished. We had.
yes. And do we talk about Clifford Wallach, the predator that brought his child?
No, we did not. But yes, he did bring his son. He explained that he was watching his son for the day and was going to set him up with a movie while he engaged in sex acts with a decoy. But it is unknown if he would have involved his son in any way.
Like he was one of the more shocking ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of reasons, but the fact that he would bring his kid, like, and just
Yeah.
he makes that case makes me really really sad. Like it's not even outrage; it's past outrage. I just feel so because the fact that he was meeting a young boy too, like you cannot you'd be hard pressed to imagine that like he wasn't doing stuff to his own kid. And I don't think we ever got any information about that, but I just think that poor little boy, he was being looked after by his father. Like, they should be they've got the day off together. They should be playing together. They should be enjoying all that. Yet he's dragged along, and and credit to the cops. They did the best they could to get him out of that situation and that. But that would have been horrific for him, seeing his father.
Absolutely.
And it's the whole. It just is awful. I hate it. I hate everything about it, and I
would
hate
have been
him.
one of their earlier memories too, because I believe like it was a very young child.
Yes, it was, and then to find out later, which I found out, because of this research that you did, that he's still married to his wife. That is.
Yes, as of 2021, he's still married to his wife.
How could she do that? How could she still be? And I think my understanding was, and I think I also heard this somewhere else. So they stayed together, and Child Protective Services removed the child. So basically, she chose this disgusting piece of shit over her own son.
Over the child.
I can't get past that.
That is so fucking gross.
It really
What
is.
the fuck?
Like it's just woeful. Anyway, let's leave that motherfucker alone.
Okay, so this would be the beginning of Tier 4. So, perverted justice hard drive crash. During several trials, the hard drives containing evidence for some predators was subpoenaed, but when handed over, many files were found to be deleted or the hard drive was beyond repair. Apparently, this was part of the reason why the show was canceled. Because they weren't able to bring a lot of evidence forward. A lot of, everyone in the Murphy sting got off scot-free, but this is part of the reason why they got off.
Right, because they couldn't bring the evidence. Yep.
Yeah. And then the next one is, oh fuck, I hate this one. The next one is Hambubger's Daughters. I love the Hambubger username. But James Wild, I'm just gonna keep this one short because it's kind of touchy, and if you want to read it for yourself, or if you want to read it, you can, but it refers to James Wiles Hambubger, who was caught in the Flagler Beach sting. Himself, along with his brother and his father, did some terrible things to Hambubger's daughters.
Oh, right.
However, they threw a party when Hambubger died, and they plan on doing so when his brother dies. So,
well, that's as they should,
so
Fucking hell.
So I hope they have a very fun time at their next party, and I hope they had a very fun time at the one that they already had.
Absolutely.
The next one is Hard Chuck One's 35 year long old porn ring involvement. He was just
So he was
involved.
in a porn ring for 35 years.
Yes, and it was for CP.
Yep.
Yes.
And I mean, he, and at his one, like, he talked about all the different things, father, son, and all that kind of stuff. Like, clearly,
I actually only recently found out, thanks to Reddit, that the Hand Jobs magazine thing that he was talking about was even a real thing.
Yeah. Okay. So that is actually is it a magazine or something? Like what?
I'm not sure. They posted like a cover of it, and it's pretty graphic. But like, I had no idea. I thought it was like just like a fantasy thing that he had found on the internet, like some kind of blog or something.
Yeah.
But
okay.
no, it's like some kind of real magazine.
Right. And yeah, so this is getting pretty dark. So what we'll do, guys, is we'll push through it. Then we'll have another palate cleanser. But it's like ripping a Band-Aid off.
We're almost done.
I think we got about 5 more points to go.
Yeah, we have. After this is going to be tiers 5, 6, and 7, which is about 5 points. So we're almost there.
Yeah, that's good.
And we should be able to power through these.
Yeah, let's power through them, because I can go for about another 15, 20 minutes. So I reckon they'll give us enough time to go through these, have a palate cleanser so we leave on a nice note. And yeah, so DMAC.
All right. So DMAC wanted a threesome with the decoy's 8-year-old sister. Dustin McFetridge did a.
Well,
He
his chat
asked.
log was disgusting.
Yes, very much so.
And very, as you've said here, like, talking about rough anal sex, getting them drunk. And, that was the thing with Dustin. And look, I admit, the very first time I saw Dustin's TCAP episode, and that was before I read his chat log. That was before I really knew much about him. You do feel a bit sorry for him. Like, you see him walking up, he can barely walk the way he's on that cane there and that. And you do have, and then, which is clearly unwarranted. But even as, I mean, in the TCAP episode, Casey says there, like, she says when she saw him, you do feel sorry for him, but then you remember what he was wanting to do. But it is, like, he does look like a very sad person. But his interrogation, I mean, I love the what are they? The KBI, the Kentucky Bureau of Investigation.
Yes, they are my favorite.
Especially Dudinsky and
Catherine Reed.
They are so good. Like, they just do
so funny.
Really, like, they should be studied the way that they do interviews, because they got so much more out of these guys than you would. And I mean, you compare them with the guys that was the KBI as well that interviewed Lorne. Now, Lorne had given everything up, so there probably wasn't really much need to try to get stuff out. But like Catherine and John Dudinsky would have got more out of him, especially Catherine. With that kind of really pleasant,
most definitely,
caring woman. Like, Lorne would have lapped that shit up. He probably would have confessed to stuff that we didn't know about, at least at that time.
He probably would have told her about Molly and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. But like that, the interrogation that Dudinsky did with DMAC was incredible. Like, the way he got right down on his level, like, he obviously summed up exactly the kind of person he was, and started talking about, hey, I'm a chubby guy too, and all this kind of stuff, and just DMAC was like, man, like, it was like halfway. You think he was about to say, should we just go grab a beer, mate? Like, I mean, we're really vibing here. but where he's, I mean, because DMAC had CSAM as well, and he tells Dudinsky about that, and then goes, I'm going to delete all that. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not going to be deleting the evidence, mate. The fact that he was
You're not going to get to that You're not going to get to that.
No, but it's just like, oh, I'm going to delete all that, as if Dudinsky just be like, great, mate, that's excellent. I really feel like we've gotten through to you. Oh, man.
Okay, so next we have Twink Toilet's Twitter. So Twink Toilet is Edward Hollingsworth. So he was part of the Murphy, Texas sting, and he died of pneumonia in 2012. And just the noteworthy thing about his Twitter is that he tweeted that you can actually read his final tweets as he talks about his hospital stays, and his Twitter is still up. It's no longer active, but it's still up, and you can like go in and read all of his tweets from his final days.
Oh, okay. Wow. So, like, what is he just like talking about? His struggle with his health and that.
Yeah. And before that, he sort of talks kind of about like politics and about things that he likes, and he's kind of eccentric, I guess you could say. You just have to like see it, it's like it's not like super bad or anything, but like it is, you can tell that.
Yep. So I've just I've whacked the link in the chat of his Twitter. So if you want to go there and read his last days, I probably don't have any interest in that because I don't really like him. But there you go. There you go. You can kind of read about his thoughts on politics and that in his final things. And oh no, Stanley. I've not been able to listen to really any Stanley content. He is too
I've
gross for me.
never, I had never heard of Stanley until this.
Oh, hadn't you? Because I like no, Kelp Pill's done a bit. Cyber Squeak's done a few streams on Stanley and that. And while they do a great job on their streams of that, I just can't do Stanley. Like when it gets into all the talking about feces and stuff, I just got too much of a weak stomach for for that. I mean,
Oh
I'm
boy.
I'm one of those people that I can't eat while
I
I'm
like
watching if you have hospital shows and that I can't do that. So
Oh
Stanley's
yes.
not mine.
I love things that make your skin crawl and stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna have to give that a listen.
So but yeah, so tell us about Stanley because I don't.
Oh well, this was a catfish. Um And hold on, let me read this whole thing. He was already old, had lost his family, and was a predator with nothing to lose. He drenched himself with fluids on webcam to a person who he thought was a young man, and the videos are still up on the internet.
Yes. So check those out, guys, if you're game. And
If you have the stomach for it.
And someone just said who is this fat guy on the stream here now? So this is Jeff Stacy. So thank you to Shins. This is what I've been trying to display for the last hour and a half. So Shins, was that kind of not long before he left us? I don't have much context about this.
Oh, so is he actually dead? Because
He is dead, yeah. Jeff Stacy is dead. So apparently died of an overdose, but there is, and this is all speculation, there's some speculation stuff that maybe his wife had something to do with it. So Tiffany has just said, put up that picture without context. That's not a predator. That's someone Shin thought believed looked like someone. So, hang on. All right, I'm so fucking confused now. So, this isn't Jeff Stacy.
Is it not?
I don't know. Tiffany has confused me, not for the first time. See, I thought Shins had sent this to me because we're talking about Jeff Stacy, as this was a recent thing of Jeff Stacy. Okay, this was last month. So, is this just someone you thought looked like Jeff Stacy? I'm so confused. But in any case, I almost
choked on my drink. Oh my gosh, is it really just someone you thought that? Wait. Now I'm confused.
I don't know. We'll go on. We'll go on, and it's okay. It's not really Jeff Stacy. This is someone that Shins looked like Jeff Stacy. But yeah, I can see that. That does look like Jeff Stacy. Well, it looks
really
like
does.
It looks like Jeff Stacy enough that I just made a fucking idiot of myself claiming it to be Jeff Stacy. So, job done, Shins. Well done, buddy.
Check your fucking sources.
Oh, I never do that. And yeah, okay. And then Davey wants two. I don't know anything about this one.
Oh, I don't know anything about this one either. I read about it, but I did not do anything past this writing down. Okay, Michael Coffey is voted the worst predator on PJ.com or pervertedjustice.com. He immediately starts off the chat by degrading the depressed 14-year-old male. He does just a bunch of terrible, horrible things, and his chat log is very terrible and very horrible, and if you want to read that for yourself, you're more than welcome to, but it is pretty graphic. But apparently he still lives comfortably in his 60s, and I think that's pretty unfair.
So he not arrested or anything? Did he get arrested?
Not that I know of. Let me look it up. Let me see if he might be. It says he has since married to a longtime friend and lives comfortably in his 60s.
Wow. And here's more of Shin's mate. So that's another one of Shin's friends. Well, no, it's the same. It's just another photo of one of Shin's friends there. So, mate.
Oh, okay.
So, You did lie to me, Shins, but I could never stay mad with you, mate. So no problems.
He likes it when you lie to him.
I do.
Mhm.
You know, I don't like it when everyone lies to me, but when Shins does, makes me feel special. And we're down to our last one, which is
Yes.
who posted the Long Beach Craigslist warning?
Now, if you were expecting an answer, I apologize.
Oh, you told me when you were coming on that you were going to reveal who it was. That's what I'm joking, obviously, but yes, I wasn't expecting you to know.
Yeah, because nobody knows. People suspect that maybe it was because apparently it was nobody in perverted justice. It was nobody within the operation. Supposedly, it was no one within the operation. So they believe that somebody may have caught on to the fact that they maybe hit on multiple decoys.
Mm-hmm.
So they posted like an advert saying, "Hey, I've hit on multiple decoys. Maybe watch out." So that's what
Wow.
that's what they had come up with, but that's all that we could say.
Wow.
Because yep, somebody just fucking ratted them out.
And that that is like it is. Just I mean they'll obviously a predator themselves, but just you think about how many potentially got away then. I mean, because obviously there would have been a lot of people that saw that and was like, okay, well, I'll save my molestation for another time.
Oh yes.
So yeah, so we got through it. That was
Yes, we did.
very interesting. I really enjoyed that. Which it does sound funny to say, you enjoy something like that, but it was very interesting. So let's have a palate cleanser. So
Yes.
as the special guest today, would you prefer another Aussie Man review or Democracy Manifest?
I really like Democracy Manifest. I think
Alrighty.
it's so fucking funny. I I quote it a lot.
Excellent. Here we go. I see you know your judo well.
Just a moment, you just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car.
Sit
We're not
down
assuring
inside
anything.
the
We're under
car.
arrest.
Look, I'm under what?
So squeaky.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! You've got me on the penis before. Why did you do this to me?
Why did you do this to
For
me?
what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good.
Good.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off. Ta-ta and farewell. One cup, look. David, right.
I love it.
It is my favorite.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I've seen that so many times. I mean, that was a big meme around here for years and years and years. But I never get sick of it. So yeah, so that's just about it for tonight. So thank you very much for being on, and also for bringing this up. I'd not heard of I actually hadn't heard of an iceberg chart at all. But much less the TCAP iceberg chart.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really enjoyed that. So thanks for being on, and we'll have to do another stream in the future if you're up for it. If
I'm definitely up for it. This was really fun.
fantastic. I'll hand over to you. Did you want to say anything before we kind of wrapped up?
No, I don't have anything too much to say, I guess. Can I say the delete your archives thing?
You definitely can.
Okay. Delete your archives, my precious princesses.
Fantastic. So now Vast's channel is pinned at the top of the chat. Please go visit her there. Like, subscribe, ring that bell. And yeah, I'll see you guys again early next week for some more streaming. I'll leave you with Shin's friend. So everyone say goodbye to Shin's friend, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.